Christine, how much does it hurt the WNBA when Caitlin Clark is out?
It is devastating to the WNBA when Caitlin Clark is out.
I know a lot of us were expecting some sort of dip since Caitlin Clark has been out with injury, but I don't think all of us were expecting the entire viewership of the entire WNBA to be down. And this tweet from Christine Brennan really stuck out to me. She said, one player gets injured and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport? Golf without Tiger definitely dropped precipitously on occasion.
The WNBA is spiraling into a severe financial crisis, witnessing its hard-won progress unravel in the absence of Caitlin Clark. Her sidelining has starkly exposed the league's failure to safeguard the very star who propelled them from relative obscurity into the national spotlight. This is the cautionary tale of a league relentlessly undermining its own future, steadfastly ignoring reality while their golden ticket watches from the bench, costing them millions each day through sheer denial and mismanagement.
The truth is the truth, and the data is there. And what we saw when Caitlin was out the last time, the 5 games that she missed earlier in the season, the WNBA's viewership dropped more than 50%. Not just the Fever, but the entire league.
In an era dominated by manufactured drama and social media outrage, hard facts have become almost as scarce as a sold-out WNBA arena without Caitlin Clark. When Clark was sidelined with a quad injury on May 24, the uncomfortable truth about the league's heavy reliance on a single player was laid bare for all to see. Now, with her once again out indefinitely due to a groin injury, we're witnessing the same grim scenario play out all over again.
To her groin, likely because of compensation. But the thing that you have to be careful of is if, say, you try to rush her back from this injury as well, then you're getting into this territory where a very serious injury can happen. That is what the Indiana Fever, that is what Caitlin need to avoid the best that they possibly can. So if it means that Caitlin is out for 3 weeks, if it means that she is out all the way through All-Star, then so.
Nationally televised WNBA viewership has nosedived by a staggering 55%, with Indiana Fever games alone suffering a 53% drop, plummeting from an average of 18.1 million viewers when Caitlin Clark was on the court to just 847,000 in her absence. But here's where this story shifts from concerning to outright absurd. And by absurd, we mean predictably disastrous for a league seemingly incapable of learning from its own missteps.
Down. The WNBA ratings have dropped over 55% Yikes. Across the board.
Hey, guess what, guys?
The league is Caitlin Clark.
The league is Caitlin Clark. She is the WNBA, guys.
Sidelined with a left quad strain May 24th, national TV viewership has plunged since then 55%. Before the injury, the Fever, her team, were averaging 1.81 million viewers, almost 2 million. Since her injury, fewer than 850,000.
While Caitlin Clark was out doing what she does best, packing arenas to the rafters, smashing TV ratings records, and driving revenue like never before, the WNBA was busy doing what it does best, absolutely nothing to safeguard its most prized asset. Because evidently, when you have a player single-handedly responsible for 26.5% of all league economic activity, the logical move is to stand by as opponents target her at will, all while smugly preaching about basketball plays.
Is alarming for the league. And it's alarming for the league because this is such a crucial year for the WNBA. At the end of this season, the WNBA will go into CBA negotiations. If negotiations go well, then every single player in the WNBA has a much better chance of making so much more in their next contract. And that's one thing when you start thinking about how many people stopped watching when Caitlin Clark got injured. A lot of people stopped watching because they are boycotting the WNBA. They don't want to give viewership to any other teams or any other players, whether they like other players on the team or not, because of how the media and the league itself has handled Caitlin Clark and how they have treated.
What's especially fascinating, and by fascinating, I mean utterly infuriating, is how this scenario isn't new at all. The WNBA has been down this road before, watching ratings and revenue crumble the moment their marquee star is sidelined. Yet, they still seem incapable of learning from their own history. It's like watching someone touch a hot stove, recoil in pain, and then immediately slap their hand back onto it while insisting they couldn't possibly have predicted the outcome.
Concerning about this is the fact that we are only a month into the regular season and Caitlin Clark has already been out with 2 injuries. With the first one being her having to miss some time with a left quad strain. Now, of course, this is concerning because if you're already on your second injury, you don't want to be that player that is always hurt. Cough, cough, Embiid, cough, cough, Anthony Davis. So I really do hope that the Fever really sits her out right now for a while, only because you don't want her to have more long-term injuries and be.
If you're enjoying this, please consider subscribing. The financial fallout has been swift and unforgiving. Ticket prices for Fever games have nosedived by 71%, with some seats plunging from $860 to just $250. Across the games Caitlin Clark has missed, average ticket prices have collapsed from $1,370 to a mere $80, a staggering drop that makes it crystal clear who actually drives interest in this league. Meanwhile, road games that were moved to larger arenas specifically to meet the overwhelming demand for Clark have suddenly found themselves struggling to fill seats that would have been sold out with her on the floor. Take the Chicago Sky vs. Fever rematch, once one of the season's marquee matchups. Ticket prices there tumbled from $210 to $95. This is the same pairing that previously pulled in 2.25 million viewers, ranking among the most watched games in WNBA history. Without Clark, though, it's reduced to just another matchup that casual fans have little reason to watch.
Man, bruh. Congratulations to the WNBA. Your ratings are going to drop by 55 to 60% once again. I believe the WNBA have successfully broken Caitlin.
Christine Brennan, the veteran sports journalist whose upcoming book on her game, Caitlin Clark in the Revolution in Women's Sports, aims to expose the league's failures, has been one of the WNBA's harshest critics. The WNBA continues to fail to meet the moment, Brennan wrote after yet another instance of Clark being targeted. People are watching as never before, and this is what they see. Her point is simple. The league knows Clark draws more than half its TV audience. It still allows her to take cheap shots and hard fouls meant to intimidate. It's like watching a restaurant owner stand by while customers harass the only chef keeping the place in business.
As big a deal as Tiger was in men's golf, Keith, he did, and when he was gone, it affected the ratings, but nothing like that. And, Michael Jordan being out, maybe a 5 percentage points or something. Nothing like this. You can make a strong case, and I will make that case, and have that there is no one single athlete more important to his or her sport or tour or whatever the circuit is that they play on than Caitlin Clark.
The pattern has become as predictable as it is maddening. Clark gets hammered by defenders who seem more interested in sending a message than actually playing basketball. Of the league's 30 flagrant fouls this season, 5 have been against her, with the Chicago Sky responsible for 80% of those. When Clark pushes back, she's slammed for being too aggressive. When she doesn't, she's labeled soft. It's a no-win scenario the league has allowed to flourish and refuses to fix. Meanwhile, the financial fallout keeps spreading beyond just the Fever. The league was already on track to lose $50 million this year, even with the surge in interest driven by Clark. Now, with her sidelined, those losses are growing rapidly as TV ratings crater, merchandise sales slow, and attendance drops back to pre-Clark levels.
I don't even know where to begin, man. I hope Caitlin Clark is okay. I want to know when this injury even happened, bro, because let's be serious here. She has the quad injury. Mind you, Caitlin Clark hadn't missed a game since she was like 19 years old, since she was like 18 in college or something. Now she has a groin injury. We've never seen Caitlin Clark play as bad as she played the last 3 games. Let's just be serious here. She's like 1 for 20-something on threes in the last 3. We've never seen her shoot the ball this way. I'll say that. Has she been hurt and playing through?
The most damning part of all this is that it was entirely preventable. Clark came into the lead as a humble rookie, always praising teammates and handling criticism with rare maturity for someone only 22. The WNBA could have protected her and used her popularity to lift the entire sport. Instead, jealousy and petty politics turned what should have been a celebration of women's basketball into a mess. Clark's injury impacts far more than TV ratings or ticket sales. Corporate sponsors who invested millions on the promise of Clark-driven growth are now questioning those bets. At its core, this reveals a bigger problem. The WNBA wants to be taken seriously as a professional league, yet chases social media drama like a high school club, hoping someone will pay attention. We can't have it both ways. Real leagues protect their stars and the game's integrity.
Caitlyn, she's a warrior. She's tough. You hear me? Bruh, you just don't see players. You don't see female basketball players like her. I'm sorry. I done seen a lot of female basketball players, like I said.
I believe the physicality and all this hacking and fouling that goes on. She getting blindsided by Marina Mabrey. I think all of this stuff is having a wear and tear and an impact. And all you guys are doing are hurting yourselves, because the numbers are going to drop and drop and drop. And trust me, when it's time for that collective bargaining agreement, they are going to point to this and say, well, how can we give you guys all this money? What happens if she gets hurt?